Okay, so now we're in the last leg of our tutorial, and we're going to talk about the talk jaw hair, which is, let me clear this out. When you talk, your hair talks with you. So you look like you have talking hair syndrome. So we have already extracted this, and we already got it foldered. So all we have to do now is just do the same thing we did with the last two hair, and put it into Blender, tailor it up to our snaggy, and then fix the talking hair that's going on right here. So let's jump over to Blender and start fixing this. So Blender, there we go. Alright, so I'm on a new layer. Here I'm on third layer, and I'm going to import our hair. So I'm going to go File, Import Today. And I'm going to go to our project folder, and I'm going to look for the blue hair and its folder. So we have it. Now this is something else that I wanted to address. Is why I was like, I did all three of these at once. Sometimes when you get hair, it may come in gigantic like this, and you're like, what do I do? Calm down, don't worry, it's totally cool. Sometimes people make their hair in other programs outside of Blender, and the scaling is like gigantic. The weights and all the skeleton, all that stuff is fine. It's just huge. So all we have to do is just press S and scale it down until it's something reasonable that we can work with. So don't go crazy and think that it's broke just because it's a little bit big. So one thing that I noticed that I didn't talk about was when we click on our skeletons here and we send them over to the Oblivion layer, with the new layer right here, it is a very good idea for you to not delete them. If you delete your skeleton, you will, the original skeleton it came in with, you'll lose the data that the hair has, and it's pretty much unrigged from there, and you'll have to re-rig it. So it's a good idea. That's why I just send them off into another layer instead of deleting it. That way it's just out of sight, out of mind, but it's still there and it still has the data. Even when we switch it over to our new skeleton, it still needs that old skeleton to keep its data. So do not delete your skeleton, the original skeleton, just send it over to a new layer. To make it easier to work with, I'm going to join it together. We're just going to do like we did with our first hair. So we'll just select it, press A, and then join it while it's in object mode. And once it joined, we're going to do the correction stuff. So we're going to correct the texture. So we're going to press A, and we're going to press Alt J, and wait for it. There we go. And we're going to make sure that this compare UVs box is checked, so we don't mess up our UV map. Then we're going to press W and then remove the doubles, just like we did in the last one. And once the doubles are removed, we can press, get out of edit mode, and we can press RZ -90, rotate it around to where our snaggle is. Hold that shift and activate our snaggle. And we may want to shrink it down a little bit more so that it actually fits on our snaggle tooth head. So I'm going to press, you'll use the arrow keys. I was going to say we can press G and just move it down, but we can just use the arrow keys if you want. Okay, so I'm just going to push and put it here on top of my head where it's supposed to go. Make sure you rotate it and look at it, that way it's not like, wrong. So you try to press again. Now I like to join it because I think it makes it easier to work with when you got a big lump of hair, rather than trying to edit each and every strand to the hair. That's mind-bogglingly time consuming. Okay, so we got the hair in a pretty good place. We're going to do like we did before and use the proportional editing. So go into edit mode. Make sure you have proportional edit turned on. Click on a vertex that's here. So just pick the vertex in there. And we press G and we'll just pull our hair out so that it matches our snaggy. Whoops. Want to watch out for that lag spike. Sorry, I'm a little laggy here because I got a second life running in the background and Bandicam are going. It's like, nope. Forget that noise zero. Your computer show lag. So we're just going to pull this up so that it works. Whoops. I'm going to do it on the sides. Remember, Control-Z is your friend if you mess up. Don't be afraid to hit that button. So pull that out. Oh, these are supposed to be going inside the skull. It's a good idea to keep the reference picture around. That way you can see how the hair was supposed to go. I'm just doing this off of what I think looked nice. I don't have the picture like I was supposed to put in here. Also, you can do more with this than just push and stuff. You can press R while you have proportional edit on, and you can actually rotate the stuff if you want to. I meant to say that in the other videos, but there wasn't really a lot of opportunity to rotate in there. So I can actually change it up if I wanted to, if I wanted more curve or something like that to this hair. So I think that's in a good spot. So let's press tab and get out of edit mode and survey the hair. There's still a little bit of scalp poking through here, so I want to correct that. So let's go in this area and oops, pull it out. May have pulled it out a little too much, but it was a little bump. It's fashionable in some places. Alright, so if you're curious as to what it looks like, you can just go with the texture on. You can press tab and then A, select it all. Oh yeah, I knew there was something that I forgot to do. Before we can apply the texture to it, we need to, we joined it. So we need to check and see that the texture is wonk. So let's go over here into the UV mode and press the N key. And you'll see, whew, there's a lot of things that need to be checked. So we're going to check all these boxes. Make sure you check all of them. Don't leave a single one checked. Don't leave a single one unchecked or you'll mess up your hair and all your hard work. So I'm going to pause it real quick and check all these boxes. And when I come back, we're going to press the button and then pause it again and then wait for it to do it. So give me a sec. I'll be right back. Whew. I never checked. No, wait. No, that's not true. I did check something with a lot more boxes than this. But, alright. So we checked all the boxes and we're going to press the button at the end, the finale, copy to whatever on map. And we're going to wait for it to go. Remember, when it's gray, it means it's working. Or you can click on it and freeze up your blender like this. And then wait for it to pop back when it's done. So I'm going to pause it again. And we're going to wait for it to do its job. So we're going to come back. And it's only going to be a second for you, but eternity for me. Okay, it's all done. And I tell you what, I definitely hate it when I pause it. And then my favorite song comes on. And I get in the jam. And I'm like, I gotta go back to the tutorial. Otherwise, I just keep it on repeat. Okay, when it's done, you'll see it overlaying and looking kind of crazy like this. Don't panic, don't freak. It's totally okay. You don't have to do anything. The fact that it looks like this means that it's fine and it worked out. So, what we're gonna do now is press A and select it all, and then we're gonna hit open, and we're gonna go to our project folder, and we're gonna select one of these, I guess. It's electronic hair. And yeah, you'll see we have our hair, so we can see what it looks like, if anything's poking through, and it is right here. It does seem weird, blue hair on a blue Avi is kind of blue overload. So, one of those things, who would do such a thing? Alright, so that's a lot better. So we have our hair sorted on our avatar. And did we transfer it over yet? Nope. So let's transfer the hair over to the snaggle, and then we're going to break it into segments. So here's our hair, and we're going to go over to our, that's the snaggle. So here's our hair, and we're going to go to the modifier tab, and you're going to see the armature modifier is up, and we're going to change it from avatar 001 or whatever it says to avatar. because that's what the Snaggle's avatar, the Snaggle skeleton is called. So now when we go and move it, you see the Snaggy moves along and all is well. Alright, so the hair moves and it's cool. Alright, so now we have to address the problem that was the final pain in the butt. And that was when you go to talk, your hair talks with you. So the first thing you need to do when that happens is to identify which bone is in control of your jaw. That helps you eliminate which hair is what bones you need to work with the hair. So to make things simple for me, I'm going to click on the hair and I'm going to go into the vertex group. I'm going to run that script that we used before, the remove unused vertex groups, and it's going to show us what groups are in use here on the hair. So it's the chest, the head, and M skull. Right. So one of these groups controls the jaw. So let's click on our snaggy skeleton. Now I could just tell you which one it is, but that's just cheating. Where's the fun of that? So we're going to click on our head. And we know already that the head is in control of the eyes. So we're going to press G or R and move these. And you see that only the eyes are moving. So it's not that. The next thing we can try is, what was this thing submitted? So that was M skull. Alright. So M head. Alright. M head. Where is the M head thingy in the snaggle? It is, if it'll let me click on it. There we go. That's it. We click on the M skull. So when we go to move that, aha, there bees the culprit. So what we need to do is examine the weights on that. Oh gee. So it's the M sculpt that's giving us problems. Okay. So what I did when I worked on this, I went into weight paint mode. And I turned off the texture so we can look at the actual weights, and that blue isn't like obstructing it. We need to get rid of the M skull weights that are here. Because unlike the last time when we had the weights on the head, there is no fit mesh bone we can swap it to. So we have to decide which one has more weight on it. Either the M skull or the M head. There's not a lot of difference between the two. You see M head has more presence over it than M skull, and I really don't understand why they did M skull in the first place. So what we're going to do is have to choose which weights do you want to get rid of. So either M skull or M head. M skull, M head. I decided to go with get rid of M skull and leave the weights for M head, because M head has more like presence over. You can tell by the coloring. See, it's got red, yellow, green, and all the rest of it. So it has more control here on the head. And then the skull just has this light blue, light green. There's no red. It's basically the same. In my opinion, it's kind of like when somebody weights the classic upper leg bone, and then they have the exact same weights on the fit mesh upper leg bone. So it's, to me, it just seems like it's the same thing. It's up to you which one you want to do. You can try going into the Avastar panel and click remove weights and get rid of it that way. And you can clear the weights. Then I like to grab onto the neck bone that's in there and press R and see how it moves, if it moves any differently for better or worse. Sorry, I'm lagging really bad right now. Let me minimize Second Life. There we go. When you have it right behind it, it usually messes it up. So, let me put everything back. Alright, so let me click on the neck. Let me press R. And you see, it moves pretty much the same. And then if you want, you can press Control Z and go back and test and see what happens if you remove the weights from head, and see if that does any difference to you. Now, I did this tutorial in advance. You may not know it, but I did this test in advance just to see. And when I did it, I noticed that there was not a significant change in the weights, or like a real difference. So it was safe for me to remove M skull and keep M head. Oops. No, I'll go back. So that's what I did in this tutorial. I just, in this instance, in this case, I removed the M skull weights and kept the M head weights because they were pretty much the same. So with that done, it's only one thing left to do, and that's to break it apart and upload. So let's go and tear this baby down. So what I'm going to do is go into object mode. Get out of weight paint mode, and we're gonna do the final upload. So object mode, click on the hair. Oh, sorry, I need to go into edit mode and click on the hair. Press A, select it all. Then we're gonna press P, and then by material. That way we got the solid and the fringe, and we are going to upload it to Second Life. So I'm going to see you guys when we get there, because I got a sneaking suspicion, totally not because I did this tutorial before and I know what's going to happen, that something bad is going to happen, and we need to do a video to address the situation for when you encounter it. So see you in the next video.